So China is going to get some pretty extreme weather over the next 7 to 10 days, ranging from extreme flooding in the south to new heat wave developing in the north. Today's May 17th, and that's what I'll be talking about today. So starting off with the European model, looking at the upper level weather pattern, we're starting off with the height anomalies. Areas in the orange and reds are ridges, and areas in the blue and purples are troughs. So at the moment, notice how we have some ridging going on across northern China and into Mongolia, with some troughing over to the south, across southeastern China. That's going to be bringing some of the rain, all that rain to that area. And just as we go over the next few days, notice how that strong ridging stays over northern China and into Mongolia, while southern China remains under a bit of a trough, which is going to be the cause for the heavy rains in the south and the heat wave in the north. And just going out over the next week, this is all the way going out to May 22nd. It's that same pattern going on with the ridging in the north and some troughing over to the south in southern China. And then by the time we get into May 25th, the model is showing that heat wave or that upper level ridging will start to shift a little bit more to the west. So places like western China, India, and Pakistan will start to get the brunt of the heat wave, while it should start to relax a bit across eastern China. And then so I want to start off looking at the rainy side of this. So we'll start off looking at the precipitation forecast. And especially over the next 72 hours, notice how we have some very heavy rains here across southern China. This is the area that's been getting extreme flooding over the past couple of months. The Guangdong Province of China especially. Very heavy rains. There's been extreme flooding the past couple of weeks and past couple of months in this area. And unfortunately, this will continue over the next 72 hours, maybe even beyond that, as I'll show you here in a second. So just going out to Monday, notice how that whole area across the south continues to get huge amounts of rainfall. And then we could get a break in the next week before we get another round of rain, possibly so at some point towards the end of the month. And then looking at the rainfall totals with this over the next, especially the next 72 hours. By the time we get into by Monday, notice how this exact same area that's been getting extreme rainfall and extreme flood in the past few months, we could be talking about another 100 to 200 millimeters of rainfall. That's another 4 to 8 inches of rain expected, so very extreme amounts of rain. Very concerned about a renewed threat of extreme flooding for this area, as there's been really very little time for this rain, or excuse me, for this flood water to recede. So I'm very concerned about how extreme this new round of flooding could be for this area there to the south. And then going over to the other side of this, which is the heat wave that's going to be developing. This is looking at forecast max temperatures from the European model, starting off with today on Saturday. So notice how, especially this area of eastern China between Shanghai and Beijing, that area is going to take the brunt of this heat wave. We have temperatures between 35 and 40 degrees Celsius. That's between about 95 and 104 degrees Fahrenheit there across eastern China. This will likely set some record high temperatures for this area. And by the time we get into Sunday and Monday time, we even get some extreme heat across northern China and into Mongolia, where we could have temperatures even in southern Mongolia reaching as high as 35 degrees Celsius or 95 degrees Fahrenheit. Especially as we get into early next week, that heat wave really starts off in the north here, like I just said, northern China and Mongolia. We could have extreme temperatures actually reaching even over 35 degrees Celsius near the Mongolia and China border there, between 35 and 40 degrees Celsius there. And even deep into Mongolia, as far north as central Mongolia, a little bit to the south of Ulaanbaatar, temperatures as high as 30 degrees Celsius or 86 degrees Fahrenheit. And then as we get deeper into next week, by the time we get into the May 22nd and May 23rd time frame, the heat wave really starts to get going in northern China there between Beijing and Shanghai and over to the west. Easily could get temperatures as high as 38 degrees Celsius, which is about 100 to 101 degrees Fahrenheit. And just continuing this out all the way to the end of the cycle here, you can see it's still it starts to cool off a little bit by around May 25th or so, like I said, as that upper level region starts to shift to the west. But notice how as that ridge shifts to the west by the around May 25th, notice how we start to get very extreme temperatures across India and Pakistan by that time. We're talking temperatures possibly over 50 degrees Celsius in Pakistan before the end of May as that ridge starts to shift to the west. That's over 122 degrees Fahrenheit, and even around that, a huge portion of northern India, extremely high population centers, getting over 45, as high as 47, 48 degrees Celsius. We're talking temperatures that's 115 degrees Fahrenheit. So extreme, very extreme temperatures are about to begin across northern India and Pakistan before the end of the month, and that'll continue probably through it continues through the end of the cycle, but it'll likely continue even beyond that as we get even into early June. Very concerning look for this area. We could be talking about multiple days over 45, probably even over 48 degrees Celsius across northern India and Pakistan. Portions of Pakistan could be talking about temperatures over 50 degrees Celsius for many days in a row by the end of this month. So it starts off in China this weekend and next week, and then beyond May 25th, it starts to shift over to the west into India and Pakistan. And so, with that being said, that's all I have for today. Hope everyone has a good one, and please stay safe in this area with all this heat and flooding going on. Have a good one, guys. See you next time.